I didn't even make it past the front door before I saw the note. It was taped right at eye level, like they wanted to make sure I wouldn't miss it. My suitcase slipped from my hand and hit the floor with a dull thud as I read the words over and over again, trying to make sense of them. Deal with the senile old woman. No greeting. No explanation. No apology. Just that. My chest tightened. A strange mix of anger and confusion rushed through me, but something deeper, something colder, started to settle in my stomach. The house felt wrong. Too quiet. Too still. Ethan? I called out, my voice echoing faintly through the hallway. Linda? No answer. Of course not. They were gone. I stepped inside slowly, closing the door behind me. The air smelled stale, like the windows hadn't been opened in days. My heels clicked against the floor as I moved forward, each step heavier than the last. That's when I heard it. A faint sound. Not quite a voice. Not quite a breath. Something in between. I froze. It came again, soft, broken, almost like a whisper dragged through dry lungs. I followed the sound without thinking, my heart pounding harder with every step. It led me down the hallway, past the living room, past the kitchen, all the way to the small guest room at the back of the house. The door was slightly open. I pushed it. And what I saw made my blood run cold. She was lying there on the bed, Ethan's grandmother, Margaret. Or at least, what was left of her. Her body looked impossibly fragile, like it could fall apart if I touched it. Her skin was pale, almost gray, stretched thin over her bones. Her breathing was shallow, uneven. Mrs. Carter, I whispered, stepping closer. Oh my God. No hospital equipment. No nurse. No water nearby. Nothing. They had just left her. My hands trembled as I rushed to her side. Can you hear me? I'm here. I just got back. Her eyelids fluttered, barely opening. For a second, I thought she couldn't see me at all. Then her fingers twitched. And slowly, painfully, she turned her head toward me. Her eyes locked onto mine. And in that moment, something felt wrong. Not weak. Not fading. Wrong. Her gaze was sharp. Too sharp for someone in her condition. Help, she breathed, her voice cracking like dry paper. Yes, I'm here, I said quickly, grabbing her hand. It was cold, ice cold. I'm going to call an ambulance, okay? You're going to be fine. Her grip tightened. Suddenly. Shockingly strong. I gasped, trying to pull back, but she held on. No, she whispered. My heart skipped. What? No hospital, she said, her voice barely audible but firm in a way that didn't match her frail body. I stared at her, confused. You need help, real help. I can't just leave you like this. A faint smile touched her lips. And it sent a chill down my spine. They left me to die, she said slowly, each word dragging through the silence. Didn't they? I swallowed hard. I didn't want to answer, but the truth was sitting right there on the door behind me. I just got back, I said softly. I didn't know. But you see it now, she interrupted. Her eyes didn't blink. Not once. Yes, I admitted. Her fingers tightened around mine again. Good, she whispered. Something about the way she said it made my stomach twist. Good? Why would that be good? I'll get you water, I said quickly, trying to pull my hand free. You need something, anything. Listen to me. Her voice changed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't strong. But it was commanding. I froze. Close the door, she said. I hesitated. Every instinct in my body told me something wasn't right. But another part of me, the part that had always tried to be the good wife, the understanding daughter-in-law, pushed me forward. I walked back and slowly closed the door. The soft click echoed like a final decision. When I turned around again, she was watching me. Still. Unblinking. Come closer, she said. I did. I don't know why. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was something else entirely. I leaned in, close enough to hear her breathing, close enough to smell the faint scent of something bitter and old. Her lips parted. Help me get revenge. The words hit me like a slap. I pulled back instantly. What? Her expression didn't change. They think I'm finished, she continued, her voice barely more than a breath. They think I don't understand, that I don't remember. This isn't right, I said, shaking my head. You're sick. You need medical care, not. They have no idea who I really am. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. I stared at her, trying to process what she had just said. My mind raced for a logical explanation. Dementia. Delirium. Something. It had to be something. Mrs. Carter, I said carefully, I think you're confused. Her hand moved again. Faster this time. She grabbed my wrist and pulled me closer, her face suddenly inches from mine. Her eyes, they weren't weak anymore. They were alive. Sharp. Calculating. I am not confused, she whispered. A chill crawled down my spine. Then what is this? I demanded, my voice breaking slightly. What are you talking about? For a moment, she said nothing. Then, she smiled. Not kindly. Not gently. But knowingly. You married into the wrong family, she said. My breath caught. What does that even mean? It means, she continued slowly, you still have a chance to choose a side. My heart started racing again. Choose a side? Against who? Ethan? Your own family? Her eyes darkened. They stopped being my family the moment they left me here to die. I opened my mouth to argue, but no words came out. Because she was right. They did leave her. They wrote that note like she was nothing. Like she wasn't even human anymore. But revenge? I said finally. That's insane. Her grip loosened slightly, but she didn't let go. Is it? She asked quietly. Or is it justice? I looked away. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to get involved. This wasn't my fight. I just got back from a trip, I said, more to myself than to her. I didn't sign up for this. You signed up the moment you said I do, she replied. Her words hit harder than I expected. I turned back to her, anger rising in my chest. I married Ethan, not whatever this is. Another smile. Smaller this time. But Ethan is part of this, she said. You just don't see it yet. A long silence followed. I could hear my own heartbeat. Feel the weight of the room pressing in on me. I need to think, I said finally, pulling my hand away. This time, she let me. Of course, she whispered. But don't take too long. Why? Her eyes drifted toward the window. The fading light. The approaching darkness. Because time, she said softly, is something I don't have much of. I stood there for a moment, unsure of what to do. Then I turned and walked toward the door. My hand rested on the handle. Emily, she called out. I froze. I never told her my name. Slowly, I turned back. She was watching me again. That same unsettling gaze. You're stronger than you think, she said. That's why they underestimated you too. A cold wave rushed through me. How do you know my name? I asked. She didn't answer. She just smiled. And in that moment, I realized something that made my blood run ice cold. Maybe the note wasn't the worst thing waiting for me in this house. Maybe, it was her. And as I stepped out of that room, closing the door behind me, one thought kept echoing in my mind. What if she was telling the truth? And what if I had just walked into something I couldn't escape? Enjoying the story? Subscribe for more. I stood there in the hallway, staring at the closed door behind me, my hand still resting on the handle like I hadn't fully let go of whatever was waiting on the other side. My heart was racing, but my mind was louder. This didn't make sense. None of it did. I took a step back, then another, trying to create distance, not just from the room, but from the feeling creeping under my skin. The house felt heavier now, like it was holding its breath. She knew my name, I whispered to myself. I never introduced myself. Not today. Not ever like that. I had only met Margaret a few times before the wedding, and even then, she barely spoke. Ethan always said her memory was fading, that she couldn't recognize people anymore. But those eyes. Those weren't the eyes of someone who had forgotten anything. I ran a hand through my hair and forced myself to focus. Okay, Emily, I muttered under my breath. Think. Just think. First step, call Ethan. I grabbed my phone and dialed his number. It rang once. Twice. 3 times. Voicemail. I hung up and immediately tried again. Same result. A sharp frustration built inside my chest. I opened my messages and typed quickly. Where are you? Why is your grandmother alone? What is going on? I hit send and stared at the screen. Delivered. No reply. Of course. Next, I tried Linda, my mother-in-law. Straight to voicemail. I let out a shaky breath and lowered the phone. The silence in the house pressed in harder now, like it was reacting to my growing panic. This is insane, I said out loud. And yet, I didn't leave. I should have. Any normal person would have walked out, called emergency services, and refused to get involved in whatever twisted situation this was. But I didn't. Because of what she said. Because of the way she looked at me. Because somehow, a small part of me believed her. A faint sound came from the room again. A soft thud. Then silence. My body tensed instantly. I turned slowly toward the door. No, I whispered. No, I'm not going back in there. But my feet didn't listen. Before I could stop myself, I was already walking toward it again. Each step felt heavier, like I was being pulled instead of choosing to move. I reached for the handle. Paused. Then opened it. The room looked the same. Dim. Still. Margaret was lying exactly where I left her. But something was different. Her eyes were closed. For a brief second, relief washed over me. Maybe she had just drifted off. Maybe everything I just experienced was exaggerated, my mind overreacting to stress and exhaustion. I stepped closer carefully. Mrs. Carter? I said softly. No response. I moved closer to the bed. Margaret? Still nothing. My chest tightened. Hey, can you hear me? I reached out slowly and touched her shoulder. Cold. Too cold. My breath caught in my throat. No, 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 no. I shook her gently. Margaret, wake up. Nothing. Panic surged through me as I grabbed her wrist, searching for a pulse. For a moment, I couldn't feel anything. My heart dropped. Then, a faint beat. Weak. Barely there. But real. Oh my God, I breathed out, relief and fear crashing together. You're still here. Her lips parted slightly. And then, she spoke. Lock the doors. I froze. What? Her eyes didn't open. Her voice was even weaker than before, almost gone. Lock all doors. A chill spread through me. Why? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. No answer. Her breathing grew uneven again, like whatever energy she had just used was gone. I stood there, torn between logic and instinct. This was ridiculous. Paranoid. There was no reason to lock anything. And yet, I turned and walked out of the room. Again. This time, my steps were faster. I moved through the house, checking the front door first. It was already locked. I twisted the bolt anyway, making sure. Then the back door. Locked. Windows. One by one, I checked them all. Closed. Secure. By the time I finished, my heart was pounding again. What are you doing? I muttered to myself. You're actually listening to her? I leaned against the wall, trying to steady my breathing. Then, a sound. Outside. Footsteps. I froze. Slow. Heavy. Crunching against gravel. Coming from the front of the house. My blood ran cold. No, I whispered. No, no, no. I moved quietly toward the window and peeked through the curtain. A car. Black. Parked right outside. The engine was still running. And someone was inside. I couldn't see their face. Just a silhouette. Watching the house. My pulse spiked. Ethan? I whispered, though I knew it wasn't him. He didn't drive a car like that. The driver's door opened. My breath stopped. A man stepped out. Tall, broad shoulders. Dressed in dark clothes. He didn't rush. He didn't hesitate. He walked straight toward the house like he knew exactly where he was going. Like he belonged here. No, no, this isn't happening. I backed away from the window, my hands shaking. Think, Emily, think. The note. Margaret's warning. Lock the doors. They have no idea who I really am. My stomach dropped. Who is he? The door handle rattled. Hard. Once. Twice. Then a knock. Slow. Deliberate. Every nerve in my body screamed. Open the door, a man's voice called out. Deep. Calm. Too calm. I know you're inside. I covered my mouth to stop myself from making a sound. Another knock. Louder this time. You don't want to make this difficult. My legs felt weak. My eyes darted toward the hallway. Toward Margaret's room. What did you get me into? I whispered under my breath. The knocking stopped. Silence. Then, a loud bang against the door. I flinched. Last chance, the man said. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I had two choices. Open the door. Or don't. And somehow, neither felt safe. Behind me, from the hallway, I heard something that made my blood freeze completely. A voice. Stronger than before. Clear. Awake. Margaret. Don't let him in. I turned slowly, fear gripping every part of me. Because this time, she didn't sound like she was dying at all. Make sure to tell in the comments where you are listening from. I turned fully toward the hallway, my breath caught somewhere between my chest and my throat. That voice, it wasn't weak anymore. It wasn't broken. It was steady. Commanding. Alive. A chill ran through me as I took a slow step back, my eyes locked on the dark hallway leading to Margaret's room. Margaret? I called out, my voice trembling despite my effort to stay calm. No answer. The front door slammed again behind me. Harder this time. Open. The door. Each word hit like a hammer. I flinched, my whole body reacting to the force in his voice. I'm not leaving, the man continued. You can stand there all night, but I promise you, I will get in. My pulse spiked again. Think. 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 I turned back toward the door, my mind racing through options. Call the police? Hide? Run? But run where? The man was already outside. And Margaret. Emily. Her voice again. Closer. My heart stopped. Slowly, I turned back toward the hallway. She was standing there. At the end of the hallway. In the shadows. I couldn't breathe. Just minutes ago, she couldn't even move her hand properly. Now she was standing. On her own. Her posture slightly bent, her body still thin and fragile, but she was standing. Watching me. How? I whispered, my voice barely audible. She stepped forward. One slow step at a time. Her bare feet made no sound against the floor. Don't open that door, she said calmly. Another bang shook the house. I'm done being patient, the man shouted. Margaret didn't even flinch. But I did. What is going on? I demanded, my fear finally turning into something sharper. Who is that? Why is he here? She stopped a few feet away from me. Her eyes met mine. And there it was again. That sharpness. That awareness. That man, she said quietly, is not here for you. Then who is he here for? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Her lips curved slightly. Me. Another loud crash hit the door, louder than before. The wood creaked under the pressure. He's going to break it down. I said, panic rising again. Not if we move first, she replied. We? The word hit me hard. I'm not part of this. I snapped. I just walked into this house. And now you're inside it, she interrupted. The door slammed again. A crack formed near the lock. My stomach dropped. He's not going to stop, I whispered. No, she agreed. He won't. For a brief moment, silence filled the space between us. Then she moved closer. Too close. Her voice dropped lower. He works for them. My heart skipped. Them? I repeated. The people your husband never told you about. My chest tightened. Ethan doesn't have people, I said quickly. He's not, this doesn't make any sense. Another hit against the door. Wood splintered slightly. Margaret's gaze didn't leave mine. Ethan isn't who you think he is. No, I shook my head immediately. No, that's not true. You've been married for how long? She asked calmly. Almost a year. And how much do you really know about his life before you? I opened my mouth to respond. Nothing came out. Because the truth was. Not much. He told me enough, I said weakly. Margaret tilted her head slightly. Did he ever tell you why his father disappeared? My stomach twisted. He said it was an accident, I replied. And you believed that? Another crash. Louder. The door frame shook. I flinched again, my nerves stretched to the limit. Stop doing this. I snapped. Stop putting things in my head. I'm not putting anything in your head, she said calmly. I'm pulling the truth out. The handle rattled violently. A crack spread further across the wood. We don't have time for this. I said, my voice rising. What do we do? For the first time, her expression changed. Not fear. Not panic. Focus. We leave, she said. Leave? How? He's right outside. There's another way. My heart pounded. What way? She glanced toward the back of the house. There's a door, she said. Hidden. Your husband doesn't know about it. Another hit. The door was starting to give. You're sure? I asked. I built it, she replied. That answer hit differently. Built it? Who was she? Why would you build something like that? I asked. Her eyes flickered briefly. For moments like this. The door cracked again. A loud splintering sound echoed through the house. "We're running out of time," I shouted. "I know." She grabbed my wrist. Her grip was firm. Strong. Not weak at all. "Stay close to me," she said. I hesitated. Every instinct in my body told me this was wrong. That none of this made sense. That I should run in the opposite direction. But the front door slammed again. And part of it broke inward. A hand pushed through the gap. My breath caught in my throat. "Now." Margaret snapped. That was it. I didn't argue. I didn't question. I moved. She pulled me down the hallway, her steps quick despite her age. We passed the guest room, then the kitchen, heading straight toward the back wall. "Where is it?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Here," she said, stopping in front of what looked like a normal section of the wall. "There's nothing. Press here." She guided my hand to a small, almost invisible indentation. I pressed it. A soft click echoed. And suddenly, part of the wall shifted. A hidden door. My eyes widened. "You've got to be kidding me." "Inside," she said. Behind us, the front door finally gave way completely. Wood shattered. Heavy footsteps entered the house. "He's inside," I whispered, panic flooding back. Margaret didn't look back. "Move." I stepped into the dark space behind the hidden door. She followed quickly, pulling it shut behind us. Darkness swallowed us whole. I could barely see anything. "Don't make a sound," she whispered. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Footsteps echoed through the house. Slow. Deliberate. Searching. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure he could hear it. A shadow passed under the small crack at the bottom of the hidden door. He was close. Too close. I held my breath. Seconds felt like minutes. Minutes felt like hours. Then, his voice. Right outside. "I know you're here," he said quietly. I froze. My body went completely still. "She can't hide you forever," he continued. My stomach dropped. He knew. He knew about her. About this. Margaret's hand tightened slightly around my wrist. Still calm. Still steady. But her next words. They changed everything. "He's not talking about me," she whispered. A cold wave rushed through me. My heart skipped a beat. "Then who is he talking about?" I breathed. She leaned closer. So close I could feel her breath against my ear. And then she said something that made my blood turn to ice. "You. Enjoying the story? Subscribe for more." My breath stopped completely. For a second, I thought I heard her wrong. "Me?" I mouthed silently, my lips barely moving in the darkness. Margaret didn't respond right away. Outside, the man's footsteps shifted slowly across the floor. Each step was careful, controlled, like he was listening for the smallest mistake. I pressed my back against the cold wall behind me, trying to make myself as small as possible. "This doesn't make any sense," I whispered, my voice trembling despite my effort to stay quiet. "Why would he be here for me?" Margaret leaned closer, her voice barely audible. "Because you're not who you think you are either." A sharp chill ran through me. "No," I shook my head immediately, even though she couldn't see it. "No, that's not true. I know exactly who I am." "Do I?" The thought slipped in before I could stop it. Outside, something crashed in the living room. Furniture. Drawers being thrown open. He was searching. "He won't stop," I whispered. "No," Margaret said calmly. "He won't. Not until he finds what he came for." "And that's me?" I asked, panic rising again. "Yes." My chest tightened so hard it hurt. "Why?" I demanded. What did I do? Margaret was quiet for a moment. Too quiet. You were born into it, she finally said. The words didn't register properly. What? Another crash echoed through the house. Closer this time. I could hear him moving down the hallway now. Slow. Methodical. Checking every room. You need to explain this right now, I whispered urgently. Because I'm not going anywhere until I understand what's happening. You don't have time to understand everything, she replied. Only enough to survive. That's not good enough. Her hand tightened around mine. Listen to me, Emily, she said, her tone sharper now. The life you remember, it's real, but it's not complete. My heart pounded harder. What does that even mean? It means pieces were taken from you, she said. Hidden. For your protection. I stared into the darkness, my mind spinning. That's insane, I said. That's actually insane. Is it? She asked quietly. Outside, the footsteps stopped. Right outside the hidden door. My entire body went rigid. Silence. Heavy. Oppressive. Then. A slow knock. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just, controlled. I know you can hear me, the man said. My breath caught in my throat. I'm not here to hurt you, he continued calmly. I'm here to take you somewhere safe. My eyes widened. Safe? That's a lie, Margaret whispered instantly. How do you know? I asked, barely moving my lips. Because I know who sent him. Another knock. Softer this time. Emily, the man said. My heart stopped. He knows my name, I whispered, panic flooding back. Of course he does, Margaret replied. They've been watching you for a long time. My head started spinning. This isn't real, I said. This can't be real. It is, she said firmly. Outside, his voice came again. You don't belong here, he said. You were never supposed to stay in this life. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? I whispered. Margaret didn't answer immediately. Instead, she did something unexpected. She let go of my wrist. A small movement, but it felt significant. Do you trust me? She asked quietly. I hesitated. That question felt heavier than anything else. Trust? After everything she had said? After everything I had seen? I don't know, I admitted honestly. That's fair, she said. But you need to decide quickly. Why? Because if you don't choose, she paused slightly, someone else will choose for you. Outside, the man's tone changed. Slightly firmer. Emily, listen carefully, he said. The woman you're with is dangerous. I felt my heart skip again. He's lying, Margaret said instantly. Am I? The man replied, almost as if he heard her. A cold wave rushed through me. How does he? He doesn't hear me, Margaret whispered. He knows me. The man continued. She's been hiding for years, he said. Running from things she should have answered for a long time ago. That's enough, Margaret muttered under her breath. You think she's protecting you, he went on. But she's using you. My chest tightened. Stop listening to him, Margaret said. But the doubt was already there. Growing. What if he's telling the truth? I whispered. Margaret didn't respond immediately. That silence said more than words. Outside, the man leaned closer to the hidden door. His voice dropped lower. She didn't tell you who you are, did she? My breath hitched. No, I whispered before I could stop myself. Margaret's grip returned, sharper this time. Don't answer him. Too late. A faint chuckle came from the other side. That's what I thought, he said. My heart pounded violently now. What do you mean? I called out before I could stop myself. Silence followed. Then. You're not just Emily Carter, he said slowly. That's just the name they gave you. My vision blurred slightly. They? I repeated. Margaret's voice cut in sharply. Enough. We're leaving. Leaving where? I asked, overwhelmed. Far from here. And him? We'll deal with him later. Outside, his tone hardened. You walk out with her, he said, and there's no coming back from that. My chest tightened again. And if I go with you? I asked, my voice shaking. A pause. Then you finally learn the truth. The word echoed in my mind. Truth. Something deep inside me shifted. Fear. Curiosity. Doubt. All tangled together. Margaret leaned closer. He's not offering you the truth, she whispered. He's offering you a version of it. And you're not? I shot back. Another pause. This one longer. Heavier. No, she said quietly. I'm offering you a choice. Outside, the man spoke again. This is your last chance, Emily. My heart felt like it was going to explode. Two voices. Two paths. Two completely different realities. And I was standing right in the middle of both. Margaret squeezed my hand one last time. Choose carefully, she said. I closed my eyes for a second. Trying to breathe. Trying to think. But nothing felt clear anymore. Nothing felt certain. Only one thing echoed louder than everything else. If I made the wrong choice, there might be no way back. Make sure to tell in the comments where you are listening from. My eyes slowly opened, but the darkness around me felt heavier than before. The air inside the hidden space had changed. It wasn't just fear anymore. It was pressure. The kind that forces you to decide, even when you're not ready. My heartbeat echoed in my ears as both of their voices lingered in my mind. Choose. Truth. No way back. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. My voice cracked slightly. I need to understand something first. Outside, there was silence. Margaret didn't interrupt. For the first time, neither of them pushed me. That scared me more. Why me? I asked again, this time louder. Out of everyone, why am I the one in the middle of this? A few seconds passed. Then the man answered. Because you were never meant to be on the outside, he said calmly. My chest tightened. That doesn't explain anything. It explains everything, he replied. You just don't remember. I clenched my fists. Then make me remember, I snapped. Margaret's grip on my arm tightened instantly. No, she said sharply. That's exactly what they want. What do you want then? I shot back at her. Because right now, all you've done is confuse me. For a moment, she didn't respond. Then she spoke, quieter this time. I want you alive. The words hit differently. Not dramatic. Not manipulative. Just, simple. Outside, the man let out a slow breath. She thinks keeping you in the dark is protecting you, he said. It's not. Then what is it? I demanded. It's control. Margaret's voice cut through immediately. Don't twist this. I'm not twisting anything, he replied. Tell her the truth. Tell her what happens if she stays with you. Silence filled the space again. I turned my head slightly toward Margaret, even though I could barely see her. What happens? I asked. Another pause. Longer this time. He finds us, she said finally. My stomach dropped. And then? I pressed. Her voice lowered. And then, you don't get a second chance. A cold wave ran through me. Outside, the man spoke again. You stay with her, he said, and you become a target. Not just tonight. Every day after this. And if I go with you? I asked. You get answers, he replied. Protection. A way out of this. Margaret let out a quiet, almost bitter breath. A way out, she repeated. Or a way in? No one spoke for a moment. I felt like I was standing on the edge of something I couldn't see. Something deep. Something irreversible. I don't trust either of you, I said honestly. That's fair, the man replied. Good, Margaret added. I almost let out a nervous laugh, but it died before it could escape. This is insane, I whispered. I just came back from a normal trip, and now you're both telling me my entire life isn't real? It's real, Margaret said softly. Just not complete. There it is again, I muttered. That word. Because it's the truth, she replied. Outside, the man stepped closer. I could hear the faint shift of his weight right behind the hidden door. Emily, he said, his voice more direct now. You felt it before, haven't you? My breath caught. Felt what? Like something doesn't add up, he continued. Moments you couldn't explain. Memories that didn't feel fully yours. My chest tightened. Images flickered in my mind. Small things. Strange things. Moments I had ignored. Stop, I whispered, more to myself than to him. You've questioned it, he said. You just never had the answers. Stop, I repeated, louder this time. Margaret's hand moved to my shoulder. Don't let him in your head. But it was too late. Because part of me knew. He wasn't completely wrong. There were moments, I admitted quietly. Margaret went still. What kind of moments, she asked. I hesitated. I don't know, just gaps, I said. Things I couldn't remember clearly. Faces that felt familiar but I couldn't place them. The man spoke again, softer now. That's not an accident. My pulse quickened. It's because your memory was altered. The words hit like a shockwave. No, I said immediately. No, that's not possible. It is, he replied. And she knows it. I turned sharply toward Margaret. Is that true? She didn't answer right away. That silence. It was enough. My stomach dropped. You knew? I whispered. I protected you, she said. That's not what I asked. I snapped. Did you know my memory was messed with? Another pause. Yes, she admitted. Everything inside me shifted. Anger. Betrayal. Fear. All at once. You had no right, I said, my voice shaking. I had every right, she replied firmly. It saved your life. From what? I demanded. From them. Outside, the man let out a quiet sigh. She's not telling you the whole story, he said. Then you tell me. I shouted, my control finally breaking. Because I'm done standing here in the dark while both of you decide what I should know. Silence followed. Heavy. Then. Open the door, he said. Margaret's grip tightened instantly. No. Just open it, he continued calmly. Look at me. Decide for yourself. My heart pounded violently. That sounded reasonable. Too reasonable. Don't do it, Margaret warned. But doubt had already taken root. If I open it, you won't hurt me? I asked. No, he said without hesitation. And her? A brief pause. I'm not here for her. Margaret let out a quiet, bitter laugh. Of course you're not, she said. I stood there, torn again. But this time, it felt different. Because now, I knew something was missing from me. Something real. Something important. And both of them were connected to it. I just want the truth, I whispered. Then come get it, the man replied. Margaret leaned closer, her voice urgent now. If you open that door, everything changes. I swallowed hard. Everything already changed, I said quietly. Her grip loosened slightly. That was the moment. The shift. The decision forming inside me. Slow. Heavy. Unavoidable. My hand moved toward the hidden door. Margaret's voice came one last time. Emily, think. I paused. Just for a second. But not long enough. Because something inside me had already decided. And as my fingers reached the edge of the door, I realized I wasn't just choosing between them. I was choosing who I was going to become. Enjoying the story? Subscribe for more. My fingers rested against the edge of the hidden door, trembling slightly. Everything inside me was screaming to stop. But something deeper, something I didn't fully understand, was pushing me forward. I'm opening it, I whispered. Margaret's grip snapped back around my wrist instantly. Don't, she said, her voice sharp, almost desperate for the first time. You don't know what you're stepping into. And you do? I shot back. Yes. Then why won't you tell me everything? Her silence answered for her. Outside, the man spoke again, calm and steady. You don't need her permission, Emily. That did it. Something inside me hardened. I'm done being controlled, I said quietly. And before Margaret could stop me, I pushed the door open. Light spilled in through the narrow gap, blinding me for a second after being in the dark so long. I stepped out slowly. The man was standing just a few feet away. Closer than I expected. Taller than I imagined. He didn't move when he saw me. He just watched. Carefully. Like he was studying every detail of my face. You came out, he said. His voice was calm, almost relieved. Behind me, I could feel Margaret still in the hidden space. Watching. Waiting. I said I wanted the truth, I replied, forcing my voice to stay steady. He nodded once. Then you made the right first step. I crossed my arms slightly, creating distance. Start talking. For a moment, he didn't speak. Instead, he reached slowly into his jacket. My body tensed immediately. Relax, he said. If I wanted to hurt you, I wouldn't have knocked. He pulled out a small object. A photograph. And held it out toward me. Look. I hesitated, then stepped forward and took it. My breath caught the second my eyes landed on it. It was me. But not me. The woman in the photo looked exactly like me, but different. Stronger. Sharper. Her posture confident, her eyes focused. And she wasn't alone. I looked closer. 3 other people stood beside her. All dressed in dark clothing. All looking serious. Prepared. Who are they? I asked quietly. You tell me, he said. I can't, I replied. I've never seen them before. He watched me closely. Look again. I did. And something strange happened. A flicker. A feeling. Not a clear memory, but something close. Like a shadow of one. I shook my head slightly. This doesn't make sense. That's because your memory is incomplete, he said. Behind me, Margaret's voice came from the hidden door. Don't listen to him, Emily. I turned slightly. She already admitted it, I said. She knew something was wrong with my memory. The man nodded. Because she helped do it. My chest tightened. Margaret didn't deny it this time. That wasn't your choice to make. I shouted, turning toward her. It was the only way to keep you alive, she replied. Alive from what? I demanded again. The man stepped forward slightly. From the people in that photo, he said. My eyes snapped back to him. What? They're not your friends, he continued. They're the reason you're in danger. That's not true, Margaret said sharply. Then tell her what they did, he challenged. Silence. Again. That silence was becoming an answer I hated. I looked down at the photo again. My hands were shaking now. Who am I? I whispered. The question hung in the air. Heavy. Real. The man's voice softened. You were part of a group, he said. A very skilled group. What kind of group? One that handled things quietly, he replied. Things most people never even know exist. My stomach twisted. Like what? He held my gaze. Threats. A chill ran through me. Threats to who? To everyone, he said simply. Behind me, Margaret stepped out of the hidden space. Her presence felt different now. Not weak. Not fragile. But strong. Dangerous. That's not the full story, she said. Then tell her the full story, the man shot back. I turned between them, overwhelmed. Enough. I snapped. No more half-truths. No more pieces. I want everything. Neither of them spoke. For a moment, it felt like time had stopped. Then Margaret sighed quietly. You weren't just part of a group, she said. You were the best one in it. My heart skipped. What? You were trained for years, she continued. Faster, smarter, stronger than the others. That's why they want you back, the man added. To use me? I asked. Yes, he said. No, Margaret said at the same time. I looked between them again. Frustration surged. Which is it? They want control, Margaret said. They want stability, the man countered. By forcing me? I asked. They won't force you, he said. They'll convince you. A cold realization settled in. Like you're trying to do right now? He didn't answer. That was answer enough. I took a step back. This is insane, I whispered. All of it. But deep down, it didn't feel insane anymore. It felt possible. That scared me more than anything. What happened to me? I asked quietly. Margaret looked at me. Really looked at me. You found out something you weren't supposed to, she said. My pulse quickened. What? She hesitated. They were planning something, she continued. Something bigger than anything before. And I stopped them? I asked. No, the man said. You tried, Margaret corrected. Silence. And that's why I'm like this? I asked. Because I tried to stop them? Yes, she said. And my memory? I took it, she admitted. Anger flared again. You don't get to decide my life. I decided to save it, she snapped back. The tension between us snapped tight. Then, the man stepped closer again. Emily, he said calmly. You don't have to figure everything out right now. I looked at him. Then what do I do? He held out his hand. Come with me. Behind me, Margaret's voice was cold. If you go with him, you're walking straight into their world again. And if I stay with you? I asked. You stay hidden, she said. Safe. Safe. Or trapped? My eyes moved between them one more time. The choice was back. Stronger than before. But now, it wasn't just about fear. It was about identity. About truth. About everything I had lost. I need more than words, I said finally. The man nodded slightly. Then I'll show you. My heart skipped. Show me what? His expression turned serious. Who you really are. Behind me, Margaret stepped forward. Emily. But I didn't look back. Because something inside me had already shifted again. And this time, I wasn't sure I could turn away from it. Make sure to tell in the comments where you are listening from. I stared at his outstretched hand, my heart pounding so loudly it felt like it might give me away. Everything had changed in a matter of minutes. Or maybe, everything had always been like this, and I was just now seeing it. "Show me," I said quietly. Margaret moved fast. Her hand grabbed my arm before I could take another step. "No," she said sharply. "You don't know what he's about to do." I turned toward her, frustration and confusion clashing inside me. "And you do?" I asked. "Because all you've done is hide things from me." "I hid things to protect you," she snapped. "And he's trying to show me the truth," I fired back. "He's trying to pull you back in," she said. The man didn't interrupt. He just stood there, watching. Waiting. Like he already knew how this would play out. "I need to see something real," I said, my voice steadier now. "Not just words. Not just warnings." Margaret's grip tightened. "What if the truth destroys you?" she asked. A strange calm settled over me. "Then at least it's mine," I replied. For the first time. She hesitated. That hesitation was all it took. I gently pulled my arm free. And then, I reached for his hand. The moment our skin touched, something snapped. Not outside. Inside my head. A sharp, blinding pain exploded behind my eyes, forcing a gasp out of me as my knees nearly gave out. "Emily," I heard Margaret shout, distant and distorted. But I couldn't respond. Because suddenly, I wasn't in the house anymore. Everything shifted. The walls disappeared. The air changed. And I was somewhere else. A memory. Or something like it. I stood in a wide, open space, dark, industrial, cold. Metal walls. Dim lights. The sound of distant machinery humming. My breath came out steady. Too steady. Like this place was familiar. Like I belonged here. I looked down at my hands. They weren't shaking anymore. They were steady. Strong. I was wearing something different. Black. Tactical. Fitted like it had been made for movement. "What is this?" I whispered. "You're remembering," a voice said behind me. I turned. The man was there. But younger. Cleaner. Less worn. "This isn't possible," I said. "It is," he replied. "This is you." Before I could respond, footsteps echoed. I turned again. 3 figures approached from the shadows. The same 3 from the photo. My chest tightened. "I know them," I said slowly. "Yes," he replied. "You do." They stopped in front of me. One of them stepped forward. A woman. Sharp eyes. Confident stance. "You're late," she said. Her voice hit something deep inside me. A flicker. A spark. I hesitated. And then, without thinking, "I had to make sure we weren't followed," I said. The words came out naturally. Like I'd said them before. The man beside me nodded slightly. "See," he said. "This is who you were." I shook my head. "No, this isn't real." But it felt real. Too real. The woman crossed her arms. "We don't have time for hesitation," she said. "We move now." "What's the target?" I asked automatically. The moment the words left my mouth, I froze. I didn't mean to say that. Or did I? The man looked at me. "That's you," he said quietly. "You led them." My pulse quickened. No. But the memory didn't stop. It pulled me deeper. The scene shifted again. Now. We were moving. Fast. Through narrow corridors. Precise. Silent. Every step calculated. Every movement controlled. I wasn't thinking. I was acting like this was second nature. What are we doing? I asked, my voice echoing in the memory. Finishing what we started, the woman replied. Then. Alarms. Loud. Sharp. Red lights flashing. Everything changed. Move, someone shouted. Gunfire echoed. My heart slammed in my chest. But my body didn't panic. It moved faster. Stronger. More focused. This wasn't fear. This was training. We're compromised, someone yelled. I turned sharply, grabbing someone's arm and pulling them behind cover just as another shot rang out. Stay down. I snapped. The authority in my voice shocked me. But it felt right. Like it belonged to me. The man beside me, my present self, watched everything. You were the one they trusted, he said. I don't remember any of this, I whispered. But you feel it, he replied. I didn't answer. Because he was right. I did feel it. Every movement. Every decision. Every instinct. It was all there. Buried. But not gone. The memory surged again. We reached a large door. Locked. Reinforced. This is it, the woman said. I stepped forward. Without hesitation. Without fear. Stand back, I said. My hands moved quickly over a device. Precise. Confident. Like I'd done it 100 times before. Seconds later. The door unlocked. A heavy click echoed. I pushed it open. And everything went still. Inside. There was something. Something important. Something that made my chest tighten even now. What is that? I asked. But no one answered. Because the memory began to break. Crack. Fade. No, wait. I shouted. I need to see. But it was slipping away. Like sand through my fingers. The man's voice came again. You're not ready for that part yet. The world around me shattered. And suddenly, I was back. Back in the house. Back in the hallway. My body collapsed forward slightly, and I caught myself just in time. My breathing was uneven now. Shallow. Fast. Oh my God, I whispered. Margaret rushed forward, grabbing my shoulders. What did he do to you? She demanded. I looked up at her. My eyes wide. Shaken. I struggled to speak. I saw everything. The man stepped back slightly, giving me space. That was just the beginning, he said. I turned toward him slowly. My heart still racing. That was me, I said. Not a question. A realization. Yes, he confirmed. My mind spun. This changes everything, I whispered. Margaret's expression darkened. No, she said firmly. It doesn't change what they are. I looked between them again. But this time, something was different. Because now, I wasn't just guessing anymore. I had seen it. Felt it. Lived it. And the scariest part wasn't what I remembered. It was how natural it felt. I slowly straightened up. My voice quieter now. Stronger. What happened after that door? I asked. The man met my gaze. That, he said, is what got you erased. A cold silence filled the room. And deep inside, I knew. Whatever was behind that door was the key to everything. Enjoying the story? Subscribe for more. The words echoed in my mind like a warning I couldn't ignore. My breathing slowly steadied, but my thoughts didn't. They were louder now. Sharper. Alive. I looked at my hands again. They didn't feel like mine anymore. Not completely. Because now I knew what they were capable of. What was inside that room? I asked, my voice low but firm. The man didn't answer right away. Instead, he studied me. Like he was measuring how much I could handle. You're remembering faster than expected, he said. That's not an answer, I replied. Behind me, Margaret stepped closer. You don't need to know, she said. I turned to her immediately. I do, I said. Because whatever it is, it's the reason all of this is happening. Her jaw tightened. That's exactly why you shouldn't go near it again. The man exhaled slowly. She already has, he said. Silence fell between us. Heavy. Unavoidable. What happened after I opened that door? I asked again. This time. He answered. You saw something you weren't supposed to see. My pulse quickened. What kind of something? He hesitated. Then said quietly. Proof. The word hit differently. Proof of what? I asked. Margaret stepped in before he could respond. Enough, she said sharply. She doesn't need details. I'm not asking you anymore, I shot back. Her eyes met mine. And for the first time, I saw something there. Not just control. Not just secrecy. Fear. Real fear. They will kill you if you remember everything, she said. I held her gaze. They already tried, I replied. That shut her up. The man stepped forward slightly. Inside that room, he said carefully, was information. Files. Evidence. About what? I pressed. About the people running everything behind the scenes, he replied. My chest tightened. You mean, like a government? He shook his head slightly. Bigger. A cold wave rushed through me. That doesn't make sense. It will, he said. Once you see it again. Margaret grabbed my arm again. You're not going anywhere, she said. I pulled back this time. No, I said firmly. I'm done being kept in the dark. You think walking into that again will give you control? She snapped. It won't. It will take everything from you. Like my memory? I fired back. She didn't respond. That silence said enough. I turned back to the man. Where is it? I asked. His expression hardened slightly. You don't go there alone. Answer the question. A brief pause. Then. It's still where you left it. My heart skipped. This house? I asked. He nodded. Hidden deeper than this passage. I felt the ground shift under me. It's here? I whispered. Margaret stepped between us. No, she said firmly. That part is sealed. You sealed it, the man corrected. Not permanently. My mind raced. Show me, I said. Margaret shook her head instantly. No. I'm not asking, I replied. Her expression darkened. You're making a mistake. Maybe, I said. But at least it'll be my mistake. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, the man turned toward the hallway. This way, he said. I hesitated. Just for a second. Then followed him. Behind me, I heard Margaret's footsteps. She wasn't letting me go alone. We moved through the house slowly. Every step felt heavier now. Not because of fear, but because of what I might find. We reached the back of the house again. Past the kitchen. Past the hidden door. Further. This shouldn't exist, I muttered. That's the point, he replied. He stopped in front of a blank wall. Just like before. But this time, I felt something. A strange pull. Like my body recognized it before my mind did. Here, he said. I stepped closer. My hand lifted slowly. Without thinking. I placed it against the wall. And suddenly, another flash. Not as strong as before. But enough. A memory. My voice. Security override, code 7. My eyes snapped open. What was that? I whispered. You, he said. My fingers moved instinctively. Pressing against the wall in a specific pattern. Click. A soft mechanical sound echoed. Then, the wall shifted, revealing another hidden entrance. My breath caught. I did that, I said. Yes, he replied. Margaret stepped forward, her voice tight. We shouldn't be doing this. But I was already moving. Into the darkness. The space inside was colder. Narrower. More controlled. Like it wasn't meant for comfort. Only purpose. We walked in silence. Until we reached a door. The same one. From the memory. My heart started racing again. This is it, I whispered. The man nodded. Margaret didn't say anything. But I could feel her tension. Her fear. My hand hovered over the control panel. It looked familiar. Too familiar. I can't remember the code, I said. You don't need to, he replied. Your body does. I swallowed hard. Then, I let my fingers move. Fast. Precise. Like before. Beep. 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 A pause. Then, click. The door unlocked. A deep, heavy sound echoed as it slowly opened. The air inside felt different. Colder. Still. Waiting. I stepped inside. And everything changed. Rows of screens. Files. Equipment. All hidden. All untouched. Like time had stopped here. Oh my God, I whispered. The man stepped in behind me. This is what you found, he said. I moved slowly through the room. My eyes scanning everything. Trying to understand. Trying to remember. What is all this? I asked. Everything they didn't want exposed, he replied. I stopped in front of a screen. It flickered to life as I approached. Recognizing me. My breath caught. This place, it knows me, I said. Yes, he said. I stared at the screen. Lines of data. Names. Dates. Operations. And then, one file stood out. Highlighted. Active. My heart skipped. Why is this one open? I asked. The man's voice turned serious. Because that's the one you accessed last. A chill ran through me. My hand moved toward it. Slowly. Carefully. Margaret's voice came from behind. Emily, don't. I paused. Just for a second. But not long enough. Because something inside me needed to know. Needed to see. Needed the truth. And as I touched the file, the screen changed. And what I saw next made my entire world collapse. Make sure to tell in the comments where you are listening from. My eyes widened as the file opened. Lines of text, images, videos, and codes flashed on the screen. Names I recognized, and names I didn't. Operations I couldn't even comprehend. Dates, locations, meetings, disappearances. The magnitude of it hit me all at once. This can't be real, I whispered. It is, the man said calmly, stepping closer. Every detail here is real. Everything you were trained to handle, every mission you undertook, it's all documented. I stumbled back slightly, my hands shaking. My mind tried to make sense of it. These weren't just memories, they were proof. Proof that my life before the memory wipe had been dangerous, complicated, and incredibly precise. Margaret's presence was behind me, tense but silent. Her eyes didn't leave the screen, her jaw tight, lips pressed together. "I warned you," she said finally. "You weren't ready for this." I shook my head. "I have to know. I need to understand everything. Why did they erase my memory? Why did I live a normal life and forget all this?" The man nodded slowly. "Because if you remembered too soon, you would have acted against them. They feared your skills. They feared you would undo everything they built. And so, they reset you. Wiped your memory. Rebuilt your life so you could survive, without knowing who you truly were." My stomach dropped. Survive. How do you know all this? "Because I was part of it," he said quietly. "I was on the team. But I left. I walked away before they erased you. I couldn't watch it happen again. And now, I'm here to show you the truth." I felt a dizzying rush of anger and disbelief. So all this time, my whole life, my husband, my friends, everything, it was fake? Constructed? "Not everything," he replied. "Some things were real. But the foundation, the key moments were all controlled, orchestrated. Your choices were limited until you were ready to remember." Margaret stepped forward, her tone sharp. "It wasn't just them. It was me too. I made sure certain parts stayed hidden. To protect you from yourself, from the people who would have killed you if you knew too much too soon." My chest tightened. "And you call that protection? You lied to me for years." "I lied to save your life," she snapped back. "Do you think they would have hesitated to take you out the moment you remembered?" I swallowed hard, my mind reeling. Then, all of it, the things I thought were normal, the trips, the small moments, the quiet days. "Constructed," the man finished. "You were meant to be ordinary until the time came. Until you could handle what you were really capable of." My legs shook. I sank slightly to the floor, staring at the screen. Videos played showing my younger self, tactical operations, precision drills, survival exercises, and files detailing threats I had neutralized before my memory was erased. Faces of people I had encountered flashed by, enemies I didn't even remember. I felt hollow. Lost. Overwhelmed. And yet, a strange energy stirred inside me. A spark I hadn't felt in years. My body remembered the control, the focus, the strength. I realized, though I had forgotten, it was still in me. Still alive. Margaret crouched beside me. "You see? You're still you. But stronger. Faster. Smarter. They can erase memories, but they can't erase your instincts." I looked at her. "Then why let me live this, normal life? Why risk letting me forget so much?" "To survive," she said simply. "Because if you remembered everything at once, you wouldn't have survived the pressure, the people, the enemies. You needed time to grow back into yourself safely." The man leaned closer. "And now, you're ready." I swallowed, my mind racing. "Ready for what?" "Ready to take back control," he said. "To confront the people who took your life from you, the people who erased you, the people who still want to use you." I stared at the files again. Names, locations, threats, operations, all proof that my life had been stolen from me. My fingers trembled as I reached for one particular file, the one labeled in bold letters, flashing ominously on the screen. Margaret placed a hand on my shoulder. "You don't have to do this alone. But if you choose to, you have to commit. There's no turning back after this." I nodded slowly, the weight of everything pressing down on me. "I don't care about turning back. I just want the truth." The man stepped aside. "Then start here. This is where you left off. This is where your real life begins again." I opened the file. Documents, images, detailed logs of operations, names of people involved, everything lined up with a past I had forgotten but could feel in my bones. Each page pulled me deeper into the reality I had lived and the world I had been trained to navigate. Hours seemed to pass as I absorbed it all. Every detail sharpened my awareness. Every image, every name, every movement unlocked instinctual knowledge buried deep inside me. I remembered how to analyze threats, how to assess situations, how to react quickly under pressure. I felt a surge of power, clarity, and purpose that I hadn't felt in years. But alongside it came anger at the people who had taken my life from me, manipulated me, and erased my memories. Margaret watched me carefully, quiet now, letting me absorb everything. The man stayed close, silent, letting me come to terms with what I had seen. Finally, I exhaled slowly. "I understand now," I said. My voice was steady, commanding even. "I remember enough. And I know what I need to do next." The man nodded. "Good. Because they are still out there. And they've been waiting for you to forget, but now, you're remembering. And you're no longer defenseless." Margaret's gaze softened slightly, but remained wary. "Then we have work to do. And Emily, you need to be careful. They're watching, always watching." I looked at both of them, taking in the weight of everything, the truth, the danger, the power I had regained. "I'm ready," I said quietly. "No more hiding. No more forgetting. No more being manipulated. I take back my life." The man extended his hand again, this time not just offering guidance, but acknowledgement. "Then let's get started." Margaret stepped back, letting me take the lead. And as I moved forward, files and screens surrounding me, a newfound clarity surged through me. I wasn't just Emily Carter anymore. I was something more. Something powerful. Something unstoppable. And deep down, I knew, the confrontation ahead would test everything I had regained. But I was no longer afraid. Enjoying the story? Subscribe for more. I took a deep breath and stepped forward, letting the cool air of the hidden room brush against my face. Screens flickered in the dim light, files and surveillance logs all around me, each one a piece of a puzzle I had been given back to solve. The reality of my past and the dangerous world I had been born into pressed down on me, heavy but grounding. Margaret trailed behind, silent for the first time in hours, her eyes alert and scanning. The man who had guided me through all of this stayed at my side, calm but ready, letting me take the lead. It was strange, the shift in power. I had gone from someone protected and erased to someone in control, someone who could act decisively. I moved toward a large terminal in the center of the room. Its screen displayed live feeds, maps, and encrypted data from multiple locations. I could feel the instincts kicking in, the same instincts I had trained and forgotten but never truly lost. Fingers flying across the keyboard, I unlocked files, cross-referenced data, and pieced together connections that even my guides had only hinted at. Margaret's voice finally broke the silence. "You've changed," she said quietly, almost in awe. "I've never seen you like this." I didn't answer. Words felt insufficient. My mind was too focused. Every movement, every keystroke, was precise, deliberate, and effective. The adrenaline of remembering, combined with the clarity of knowing the truth, was intoxicating. Suddenly, a red alert flashed on one of the screens. Multiple cameras showed unfamiliar faces approaching the compound outside. My pulse quickened, but my hands didn't shake. I was ready. "They're here," I said calmly. "Margaret, cover the rear." Follow me. We're intercepting." Everything that had been hidden, erased, and reconstructed came together in that moment. I felt powerful, capable, alive in a way I hadn't since I was first trained. As we moved through the hidden hallways, I assessed every corner, every shadow. Threats didn't surprise me, they registered. Calculated. Managed. We reached an entry point where the intruders were attempting to breach security. I paused, evaluating the situation. The man at my side looked at me, waiting for instruction. Margaret positioned herself strategically behind me. I drew a deep breath. "I handle the front. Margaret, you watch the perimeter. Move fast. Don't hesitate." Then I stepped forward. The intruders didn't know what hit them. Each movement was swift, precise, almost like a dance I had done countless times before. Neutralizing threats, disarming, controlling the chaos, it all came naturally. My mind was sharp, and my body moved with the certainty of someone who had lived this life before. In minutes, the room was secure. Breathing heavily but controlled, I looked around at the aftermath. Equipment had been tampered with, but no harm had come to us. Margaret exhaled audibly, tension easing from her shoulders. The man beside me nodded. "You've fully returned," he said. I let my gaze linger on the screens, the maps, the files, the proof of my life, my power, and the enemies who had tried to erase me. For the first time, I felt complete. Not just Emily Carter, the woman with a fabricated normal life, but the real me, the one they had tried to hide, control, and manipulate. Margaret spoke quietly. "You're not just surviving anymore. You're ready to fight back." I turned to her, my eyes sharp. "I've been ready. I just didn't know it." The man stepped closer, placing a hand briefly on my shoulder. "This is just the beginning," he said. "Now you know who you are, and the people who erased you will come for you again. But you won't be defenseless. You will be the storm they never saw coming." A calm certainty settled over me. Fear had no place here anymore. Everything I had forgotten and everything I had remembered had aligned, creating someone unstoppable. I could feel the energy inside me, the focus, the strategy, the knowledge, and the skill that had once made me a target and would now make me a force to be reckoned with. Margaret moved to my side. "Whatever comes next, Emily, you won't face it alone." I nodded. "I know." Outside, shadows shifted. We weren't safe yet. Not entirely. But that no longer mattered. For the first time, I wasn't running. I wasn't hiding. I wasn't afraid. I stepped toward the main terminal, preparing to take control of every file, every piece of intelligence, every weapon and network the intruders could exploit. Every plan, every move that had been made against me, it would now work in my favor. The man spoke quietly, almost reverently. "You're fully in command now." I glanced at him. "And I intend to stay that way." Margaret smiled faintly, a mixture of relief and caution. "Good. Because the real battle begins now, Emily. And this time, it's yours to win." I looked at the screens, the maps, the intruders' movements, the whole network laid bare before me. Every piece of it connected. Every threat measurable. Every action calculable. The weight of responsibility pressed on me, but it didn't break me. Instead, it focused me. Sharpened me. Made me more alive than I had ever been. I took a slow, deep breath and exhaled. "Let them come," I said, my voice steady, unwavering. "They have no idea who I am now." And in that moment, everything changed. No more erasures. No more manipulation. No more running. I was Emily Carter. Fully remembered. Fully capable. Fully unstoppable. And the world, the people who had tried to erase me, the enemies who had watched me from the shadows, they would soon understand exactly who I had become. The storm had arrived. The battle had begun. And I would not stop until every piece of my life, every stolen memory, and every threat was mine to control. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more. Don't forget to like and share this video. Comment below and tell me which country you are watching from. I want to hear from all of you. Your support means the world, so hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more amazing stories.